My name is Eric Ladnier. This is going to be a permanent record of the events leading up to the death of Mark Preuss. As I remember them, it's been close to, if not over 25 years since these events took place. A lot of the memories that I thought would never go away have gone away completely. Some are fuzzy. A few of the most traumatic points are never going to go away, not while I'm still alive on this earth. And those are the points I'm going to talk about. Mark Preuss was a gunner's mate on board the USS Caloosahatchee during the invasion of Grenada. He was there prior to that, only for a day or two after that, and then he died. I was on board from 81 to 85 on board that ship. I was in the U.S. Navy from 1980 to 1986. My association with Mark Preuss was I stood a watch with him. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even known who he was. We had underway watches. Someone had to be on watch in the steering gear room. That's the gear that is above the rudders in the back of the ship. And since I was qualified to take care of the mechanical problems of the rudders, that's what I took care of. He was qualified to steer in case of a loss of steering on the bridge. So he was there just to work the steering wheel. I was there to turn the steering wheel on and off and to check oil levels and pressures and things of that nature. When the last time I stood watch with Mark Preuss during the invasion of Grenada was he had told me with his own words that he had worked 23 hours the day before that, was extremely sleepy. They had only let him have an hour of sleep. That wasn't the end of it. To me, that's an extremely abusive thing to put somebody through. But on top of that, he was allowed to go to his rack at 5 o'clock in the morning. At 6 o'clock in the morning, when reveille sounded, he was forced out of his rack. He initially was unable to wake up because of lack of sleep, and so when they finally got him out of his rack, he was assigned extra duty. The way it was explained to me was that Master Chief Sherman had found him in his rack after 6 and wrote him up. Now, that may be inaccurate because of memories fading, but that is what came out of his mouth. And it may have just been that he told me that because it was the easiest way to explain what happened. He may not have been actually written up. There may have never been a legal record of it. But he was punished, and I witnessed that. He was given extra duty assignments, which, how in the world you can give somebody extra duty that's working 23 hours a day, I don't know. He had, the trap he fell into was the workday ran from you might as well say 6 to 5. The actual physical labor started at 7. His watch station had him up before that, so he was up from probably 2 o'clock in the morning till 6 in the morning at what time he started his work day. Before the work day ended, he was sent to the replenishing detail he was assigned to, and that didn't end until 5 in the morning. So he actually was on his feet physically working for 23 hours. Once he got on extra duty, they really couldn't find a way to give him extra duty because he stayed in his cycle during the entire invasion. And so what they did was, when he had easy duty, which his steering gear duty would have been easy because he would have been allowed to sit down, they would send some worthless piece of trash to relieve him of his watch to put him on work details. He was put on a work detail at night, in the pitch black dark of night, topside of the ship. No healthy person should be topside on a military ship at night. They have certain watch stations they feel need to be manned. I don't even believe those should be manned without some kind of sufficient safety measures that don't exist or didn't exist at that time. But aside from the fact that no healthy person should be up there, Mark was not healthy. It had been 2 or 3 days of no sleep. He looked sick. He looked like he was dying. He was so sleepy. I had begged him to sleep the night that I only had watch with him for about an hour the last time because we cycled out and in and out at different times. And he refused to go to sleep because he didn't want to get in trouble again. Maybe by the 2nd or 3rd day he would have accepted. And he was put on watch with Jareen Larson. I know Jareen would have watched the ladder to make sure no one was coming down so that Mark could get some sleep. But as soon as Mark got down there to where he could sit down, they did send this person down there to relieve him so that he could go haul ammunition from the front of the ship to the back of the ship at night. And we're talking about heavy boxes of ammunition. I'm sure when he went overboard, people were all concerned about where that box of ammunition went. But He died. The only saving grace that I remember is at the time we had replenished the carrier groups so much that we were sitting high out of the water, and the screws were cavitating, breaking the waves. The propellers of the ship were actually, the ship was sitting so high the propellers were coming out of the water. And when I found out that he was missing, I didn't go praying, oh please let's find him safe, because it's stupid to pray for things that ain't going to happen. And no human in the history of the Navy, as far as I know, has ever been dropped overboard off of a ship in the middle of the ocean and found again. In fact, I don't even know if any bodies have ever been found. But they turned all the lights on. Everybody, or most people, went topside, whether out of curiosity or to look for him. I think a lot of people were very, very broke up, saddened, scared, and were truly trying to find him. I went up topside and I just prayed, please God, let him have gone through the screws. Just let him, if he'd have gone through them screws, it would have been over in a second. I couldn't imagine him being out there by himself, watching or listening to the ship getting farther and farther away. I really think he was so sleepy that when he hit the water, he may not have even woken up, or if he woke up, he may have woken up just for a second. But in any case, he was killed. Had this happened at Walmart, whoever was in charge would have been brought up on murder charges, probably would have been convicted of negligent homicide. Certainly God convicts those people of murder. When it was over with, you would think that they would have all confessed their sin and came forward and said, I'm so sorry, I just wanted to bully him, or I just wanted to show him I was his boss. I didn't mean to kill him. I just wanted to show him how powerful I was. I didn't mean for it to cost him his life. But what was going out of their mouths, and probably in their hearts too, is, oh man, I'm going to have to be late for supper because of this fool falling off the ship. They couldn't care less. To the ones that killed him, I'm sure it was just a big joke. And they probably brag about it to their, the friends that they know they can confide in. Oh yeah, I caused the guy to fall off the ship and die. And I even heard some of these worthless people saying such things to each other. And so, you can talk about heroes all you want. I was in the military, and there's some really nice people in there, but it ain't very many of them. And for the most part, there's a lot of really sick people that do things like this in the military. You don't experience if you're one of them, but I wasn't one of them. When I introduced myself, I never said I'm MM3 Ladner. I said I'm Eric. And that's just that attitude set me apart from them. So I spent 6 years as one of those people that hauled heavy objects from the front of the ship to the back of the ship. And just the way it is. This is a permanent record. You've got 30 days to correct it before I add tags. If you find this 10 years from now and you want to correct it, I'll correct it, but it's going to stay on there if you can prove that you have better information.